The Roxy Theatre was built as the Victory Theatre in 1936. A local businessman took his family to Queensland on holidays and saw the tropical style theatres up there and came back and built one on part of his property. It continued to run until 1971 when it closed, and then for the next 30 years it was a plumber's workshop, so they were building rainwater tanks in here. And in 2003 I was part of a Mallee leadership program and we had to have a community project. So my community project was to see if it was feasible, if we could in fact get funding and purchase it. I'd always admired the theatre and thought, wouldn't it be fantastic if we could, first of all I just thought if we could buy it and have it open for people to look at. I never even thought we would run it again as a picture theatre. We went and we formed a committee to see if we could get funding, which we started writing lots and lots and lots of funding submissions, and we were successful. Mildura City Council supported us with seed funding. We got state government funding and federal government funding and community funds as well. So we purchased the building in, I think it was 2005, and then started the renovations in 2006. When we started the project, we were lucky enough to have people living in the community still who had actually worked here, and they came down and were involved as well. We had two of the original projectionists. They'd started in, I think, 1949 as very young men and got their projectionist licence, and also one of those men, his wife, was an usher. So to have those memories, things that happened here, it was really, really special.
I'm Don Dundee. I've started as an assistant projectionist in 1951 and was here at the closing of the theatre in 1971. Well, my elder brother got started in it for a start, and I suppose I followed in his footsteps. Yeah, it was challenging, I suppose, in some way, learning something new and taking on a bit of a responsibility, looking after the machines, keeping them running. Threading up, winding, you used to rewind every spool that went off. They come in 2,000-foot spools. Yeah, it was 3 nights a week you didn't have your wife and your family with you.
Speaking of your wife, wasn't there a story about you throwing lolly papers at her through the portal?
I wouldn't do that, no. That wouldn't have been me, it must have been somebody else.
Opening night was November 2007. We had a small committee who organised opening night. The rest of the committee were busy trying to get the place finished before that, and we were literally finishing it that day. We had 130 people, I think, in here. We had invited Bill Hunter and Jeff Payne, who both accepted, which was fantastic, and they came and opened the theatre for us. And it was something Oyen had never seen before. We had red carpet arrivals and special guests and politicians and just lots and lots of people, and all dressed up in their finery. We screened Bill Hunter's Newsfront because he was here. We thought that was special. Bill's comment, however, was that he'd seen this film before and he'd rather wander off if we didn't mind. So that was great. In his speech, he said how important little community theatres are to Australian film and theatre. So yeah, it was lovely to have him here.
Very early when I moved up here, I got involved in the Roxy as a secretary of the committee, and since then I've been doing a lot of media and advertising and Facebook side for the Roxy. When we were doing the renovations, we were trying to think of ways to make more money, and I think someone actually went to a theatre where they had something similar. We sold each seat and families bought them. People bought them from companies, so their business owns a seat, and quite a few people bought them in memory of somebody who'd passed away that would have been a theatre patron in the past. So we had different costs for them depending if it was for an individual or a family or a company, and we sold every single seat, and we still get inquiries about them.
The Roxy is a great part of the community, especially being situated right in the main street. We screen films at least once a fortnight. This weekend we've actually got 2 films, so one tonight and one Sunday afternoon. We do have a stage. We're lucky enough to have a stage, so we can roll the screen up, and we've had bands, we've had theatre restaurant in here as well. The school use it for some of their productions. We've had weddings, 21st birthday parties, you name it, we'll have it. The people who help run the theatre are all volunteers. No one's paid here, and we really do it because we love it. And plus, generally, we want to see the film that's on.
My name's Rose and I'm a volunteer. I do the door and I sometimes run films. My favourite part of volunteering is it makes me feel like a part of the community. Just talking to a lot of the elderly people who've grown up with the Roxy as well and seeing what they think of having it here now. I hear stories of what they used to do in the Roxy when they were younger, like rolling chappers down the aisles and that sort of stuff. Hopefully if the Roxy keeps going, it'll be a part of history too.
It would be a terrible shame if we lost it after the hard work that's been put into it. I think people have made much more of an effort to come to the Roxy now. I'll often get phone calls, like I got a phone call on the way in here tonight from people even further out than me. So they're 50 minutes out of Oyen and they were organising a group to come in tonight. So I think people want it here, and while people are supporting it, and while we're getting all these extra events happening rather than just films, and it's becoming such an integral part of the community, I can't see the Roxy going anywhere.
The future for the theatre will be to progress over time. We don't have a film projector. We didn't go down that path. We've looked at digital, but we can't afford that yet, so that will depend on whether we can get funding or not. We would love to. So we will operate as we are and continue to raise funds and apply for more funding. To walk in here, especially on nights when we have a full house, to stand up in the projection booth and see it full of people is just fantastic.